Keep it up. If your boss has said those 3 words to you more than twice and you still don't know where you're headed, this video is going to hit different, because keep it up is not a development plan. It's a ceiling, and most retail managers don't realize they've hit it until they're already looking for a way out. I'm going to break down exactly why that happens and how to fix it. Most retail managers are really good at their jobs, and most of them feel completely invisible. Those 2 things are connected. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how. You ever trained someone, held a team together, hit every number your company asked for, and still felt like nobody really sees you as a leader? This video is for you. We're going to talk about the difference between managing performance and building a leadership identity, because those 2 things are not the same, and mixing them up is exactly why so many good managers stay stuck. We're going to talk about the difference between managing performance and building leadership identity, because those 2 things are not the same, and mixing them up is exactly why so many good managers stay stuck. This is not a talent problem. It's a development gap. Before I get into this, I want to be clear about who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the manager who opens the store, closes the store, the one who trains every new hire because the company trusts them to do it right. The one who covers shifts nobody else will cover. The one who's the district manager says, "Great job, keep it up," every single quarter. And they go home thinking, keep it up? Doing what? Where is this going? If this is you, hear this. The problem is not your talent. The problem is not your effort. The problem is that nobody ever helped you build a leadership identity, and that missing piece changes everything. Let's start with performance management. It does what it is designed to do. Performance management is how a company tracks whether someone is doing a good job. Numbers, targets, attendance, customer scores, reviews, write-ups, all of those exist for a reason. A store has to run and someone has to be accountable. That part is not wrong. But here's the limit. It has nothing to say about who they are. That difference is the gap most managers are living inside of. Think about the best manager in the store, the one the building cannot function without. Your performance system has a number for them, a score, a target hit rate, but it has no language for the fact that they walk in and the entire energy of the floor changes. It has no language for how they handle a difficult conversation with a customer. It has no language for the way their team would do anything for them because they trust them. That is not captured in a performance system. That is a leadership identity, and it lives somewhere else entirely. So what actually is a leadership identity? Not a title, not a job description, and not a list of responsibilities. A leadership identity answers one question: what kind of leader am I, and does everyone around me know it? When a manager has clear leadership identity, 3 things are true. They know their standards, they lead with consistent style, and they make their growth visible to the people above them. Let's break 3 of these down. Number 1, standards. A standard is something you will not let slide no matter who is watching and no matter how busy things get. Maybe it's how your team talks to customers. Maybe it's how mistakes are handled with honesty instead of blame. Maybe it's how a shift's open. Whatever your standards are, a manager with a clear identity knows them before they walk in the door and holds them the same way on a slow Tuesday as they would on a packed Saturday. That consistency builds trust, and trust is what makes people stay. Number 2, style. Style is how you lead people, how you give feedback, how you show up when things go sideways. The best leaders are not always tough, and they're not always soft, but they're always the same person. Your team should know exactly what to expect from you because you are consistent. When people know where you stand, they perform better. 3, visibility. This is the one most managers skip, and it decides everything when it comes to your career. Visibility means you can explain your leadership and not just live it. It means that you can walk into a conversation with your district manager and say clearly, here is what I stand for, and here is what I built on this floor, and here is where I'm going to be headed. It is not bragging and not politics. It is making your leadership legible to people who make decisions. Most managers do incredible work and cannot explain it in one sentence. A clear identity fixes that. There are 3 parts of leadership identity: standards, style, and visibility. Standards are what you will not slide, style is how you lead people consistently, and visibility is making your leadership legible to the people above you. Now, let me tell you about 2 managers. Same company, same store, same 5 years on the job, both hitting their numbers. You ask the district manager about the first one and they say solid. Numbers are always good, never a problem. You ask about the second one and they say runs the tightest floor I have. When she is on the shift, everything works differently. I know exactly what she stands for, and so does every person on her team. Same store, same results on paper. One of them has performance, the other has identity. At promotion time, there is no contest. The painful part is that the first manager might actually be a better operator. They might be doing everything right, but because nobody helped them build a clear identity, they are invisible to the people who make decisions. Not invisible on the floor, invisible in the conversations that decide their future. That is not a talent problem. It is a development gap, and it can be fixed. Manager 1 is not lazy and not unmotivated. They are waiting for someone to develop them, and nobody is coming. At some point, they quietly start thinking about what it would feel like to work somewhere else that actually sees them. Once that thought starts, it rarely stops. That is the moment a company loses a great manager. Not when the 2 weeks notice comes in, but long before that. You do not lose a great manager when they quit. You lose them the moment they stop believing they can grow there. So what do you do about this? Whether you are a manager building an identity or a leader developing your team, there are 3 things you can start this week. First, name your standards out loud. Most managers have standards but never say them. Pick one thing you would not let slide on your floor and say it clearly to your team, not as a threat, but as a statement of who you are. Something like, on this floor, we handle mistakes honestly and move forward. We do not point fingers. That is how we work. When you say that you are not just managing performance, you are building an identity. Second, write down how you lead, not what you do, but how you do it. One paragraph answering this question. When things go wrong on my floor, how do I handle it? Write it down and read it back to yourself. If it sounds like someone you would want to work for, you have started to name your style. If it does not, you know what you need to improve. Third, make your growth visible. The next time your district manager asks how things are going, do not just say good. Say I have been working on how I develop my team. Here's the one thing I changed and here's the result. One sentence, one example. That is how visibility begins. Name one standard out loud to your team, write one paragraph about how you lead when things go wrong, and then share specific improvement with your district manager. 3 things start this week. Let's come back to the beginning. You cannot retain what you never developed. Performance management measures how someone is doing. Leadership identity shows them who they are becoming. One measures, the other one grows people. In retail, when a manager has clear identity, when they know their standards, lead with consistent style, and make their growth visible, they stop looking for somewhere else to go. Not because they could get a raise and not because the company is suddenly just noticing them, but because they are already becoming the leader they want to be. That is the real answer to the retention, not a better bonus or schedule. Real development that builds a person, not just a performer. If you are a manager watching this, you already did the hard part. You kept the floor running and you built things nobody gave you credit for. Now build the one thing that follows you everywhere, your leadership identity. If you want a structured tool to help you with that, the Disciplined Leader System, what I created is curated playbook with worksheets, templates designed to build that identity step by step. The link is in the description. Watch this video, think about what applies to you, then decide. Thanks for watching.